Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Before we get started, please take a minute and click subscribe to my channel. And check out this link you see on your screen right now for a message from our sponsor, The Motley Fool. You can get the top 10 stocks to buy right now. So, if you've been following the news, you've probably seen that the second largest banking collapse of all time happened right before last weekend. SVB Financial Group, also known as Silicon Valley Bank. And kind of ripple effects are going through the market right now. A few regional banks in particular are down 60% or more today alone. The regional banking index itself is down by about 15% today as I'm filming this on Monday. And you might be thinking there are some opportunities in the sector. And long term, you're probably right. But right now, the volatility is just too high to put your money into any one of these banking names. So, one approach, if you think that the banking sector has a lot of long term opportunity, is to look at some of these or financial sector ETFs. These can be great ways to invest for the long term without putting too much of your money in any individual stock. And if you can get it when there's a temporary mispricing in the market or a lot of investor fear in the market like there is right now, it can be a really great time to do so. So I want to look at three of my favorite financial sector ETFs. First is the financial sector SPDR. This is the XLF, that's its ticker symbol, and it's kind of the holy grail or the benchmark of financials ETFs. It's the largest by far that specializes in the financial sector. It owns financial stocks that are in the S&P 500 index. So it has little or no exposure to these regional banks that are really, really affected by what's going on in the banking industry right now. It owns a total of 67 stocks throughout the financial sector. So the financial sector, if you're not familiar, is not just banks. It also includes insurance companies, financial services companies, mortgage real estate companies, a few other different types of businesses. So that's why you see the number one holding is Berkshire Hathaway, which is not a bank by any means, but is at its heart an insurance company. So it is technically in the financial sector. It also owns JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, 67 stocks in all. So number two, and this is pretty close, is the Vanguard Financials ETF. So ticker symbol is VFH, low expense ratio, just like the first one, low fees, the full financial sector, banks, insurance companies, etc. You see, this is a much broader group, though. This doesn't just own the S&P 500 components that are in the financial sector. This has some small and mid-cap exposure as well. So if you want to take advantage of the decline in regional banks, this could be a way to do it while still kind of balancing out your risk with some larger banks. So you see top holdings are JP Morgan Chase, Berkshire Hathaway, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. S&P Global is a financial services company, good example of that. But 378 stocks in all. If you remember in the first one, it was just 67. So a broader spectrum of size when it comes to the banks that are in this fund. And last but certainly not least, if you're looking to get exposure directly to the regional banking space that's really taking a hit here with the hopes of it being a long-term value play, the SPDR, the SPDR S&P Regional Banking ETF could be the way to go. Ticker symbol is KRE. It has a slightly higher expense ratio, 0.35%, which is not high by any means. This is kind of common for the more specialized an ETF is, the higher the expense ratio is kind of the general rule. This is all regional banks, and it is a kind of key point to know is it's a modified equal weight index, meaning that no single company makes up too much of the index, which is really big in regional banking because you have a huge difference in size between the big players and the small players. For example, you see on that list right there, Truist Financial has a market cap of roughly $60 billion, and there are some companies that have market caps of $1 billion or $2 billion. No company makes up more than 2% of that index. So it's not a completely equal weight index, but it's pretty close. Just some names you might know that are included: PNC Bank, Truist, Regions, KeyCorp, and Fifth Third Bank are some of the more popular, more well-known names that are in there. So those are three examples of great financial sector ETFs that can get you exposure to the sector while it's beaten down, with the intention of being a long-term investment bought at an opportunistic time. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Please comment with any questions you might have. I'll do my best to get to them individually, and thanks for joining me.
Once again, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure to click subscribe if you don't subscribe to my channel already.
And as always, this video is sponsored by the Motley Fool. Be sure to visit www.fool.com/Frankel to receive the top 10 best stocks to buy now.